Beer. The oldest and most widely consumed alcohol beverage in the world. Made with grains and yeast to birth classic and adventurous flavors. But when it comes to the world of craft brews, it's just the beginning.
Where did that come from?
Follow our team of beer guides for beer ventures of a lifetime. Beer Captain Kelly Bigelow.
You interested in a taste?
Yeah.
Cheers, yeah. Hey. Yeah, this is just about the freshest beer I've ever had.
Kate Burnott, Beer Quartermaster.
Trust him. Literally just let you up.
And special guest, Melissa, the girl with beer.
He is a cow patty smells different after it's aged. Years 10 days.
Kelly, you test that and let me know.
Challenge accepted.
Hopefully they can make it out unscathed from the Beermuda Triangle.
We doing poop into beer. Beer into poop and great.
Beermuda Triangle is proudly sponsored by Stampede Packing Company, maker of redneck brand cottage bacon, maple sweet hams, and distinctive sausages. Montana Party Time, Montana's party and event rental headquarters. Airport accommodations provided by Stone Creek Lodge.
Welcome to Season 2 of the Beermuda Triangle. I can't wait to get started on this beer venture, but first, I'm on my way to pick up a very special guest. Hi, you must be Melissa.
Hi, Kelly.
Bigelow, nice to meet you. You ready for a beer venture?
My name is Melissa, and I live in San Diego, California. I do marketing and communications for a small brewery called Green Flash. We also acquired Alpine in 2014, so I also do the communications for them as well.
Let's go introduce you to some great folks and some awesome breweries.
I am heavily involved in the craft beer scene, especially through my Instagram account, The Girl with Beer. The reason I called it The Girl with Beer is because I wanted to demonstrate or highlight women that drink craft beer. When you think about beer in general, a lot of times the female consumer kind of gets forgotten about. So I wanted to show that women do drink beer, and they do drink craft beer, and they do travel for craft beer. We don't just go to the grocery store and pick up whatever looks the prettiest. We do like to experiment and learn about the industry and just the experiences around it.
I didn't come with a lot of expectations. If I did, I would be better equipped with my shoe selection. They're just not meant for the snow because I didn't think there was going to be snow.
Along with Melissa, I'm super excited to have along for our beer venture Kate Burnott, who's a certified beer writer, beer judge, and just all around amazing lady.
This is more like an adventure. You know, I like that you just got on a plane and we're like, we'll see what happens.
So on this trip, I'm really looking forward to checking out Lewis and Clark Brewing. I've never been there, but I love their beer. So it's always exciting to go to the source of a beer you love, especially if you've never been there for the first time. So that's really high on my list.
You know, you're in for quite a treat. We've got hot springs to hit, and we're gonna be walking around at Wildwood Brewing, so you're definitely not gonna be needing the Keds or the flip-flops or the heels. So we're on our way to Fairmont Hot Springs right now. Then we're gonna head over to Helena and hit up Lewis and Clark Brewing. Then we're gonna swoop over to Lone Peak Brewing in Big Sky, Montana, and we're gonna wrap things up at Wildwood Brewing in Stevensville, Montana.
I hope we can get some cans to go and then bring it to the hot springs because I'm really stoked for the hot springs. Yeah.
We're gonna do that. Woohoo!
Hot tub party, hot springs party.
Oh yeah. But first, we're gonna stop at Fairmont Hot Springs where the hot pools are hot and it's open 24/7, 365.
I made it.
Here we go.
Do this.
Hi.
I'm
Welcome
Kate.
to Fairmont, Steve Lubeck.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Steve Lubeck.
Melissa.
Welcome to Fairmont, Steve Lubeck.
Yeah, Kelly, nice to meet you
How
again.
are you?
Great, yourself?
Great.
Yeah, we got Kate and Melissa, and we're ready to see the wonders that you got in here.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the hot
Nothing
springs.
better than the hot springs in the winter. You'll love
Yeah,
it.
we could
Right.
use some warm
Come
water.
inside, let's get you checked in and we'll do a tour.
Okay, sounds great.
Well, there are a lot of hot springs around Montana, but what Fairmont is unique in is that we're sitting right on Interstate 90, so access is extremely good. It's a modern facility. We've done multiple rounds of renovation over the last 10 years.
Yes, it's pretty great. Hi.
We have a large conference center, which I think we're the only hot springs in the state that has a conference center. 18-hole golf course, and we're not a downtown hotel, so you get to experience kind of a unique natural Montana experience when you're here at the resort. So do you intend to hit the hot tub tonight?
Definitely, we'd like to.
Perfect. You want to start with a tour of the hot springs so you know where you're going and what to expect?
That'd be great. Yeah. Thank you.
Good.
So I have to admit, I've never been to Fairmont Hot Springs before, but I've only heard good things, and I'm really looking forward to taking a soak in some of those pools.
Thanks. So how many pools are there total?
There's 4, 2 large hot pools and 2 large swimming pools.
Oh.
One inside of each and one outside of each.
So warm in here.
85
Feels
degrees.
so good.
That does.
The pools look great, and honestly, I think I'd rather be soaking in them than taking the rest of the tour.
Well, can we see outside?
Let's go see outside.
With pools ranging from 88 degrees to 104 degrees, they have both indoor and outdoor here at Fairmont Hot Springs. But we've got to go outside and enjoy those outdoor pools the way they were intended to be in Montana nature.
There's the water slide. Nice. Great
There it
view.
is.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. So what's the source of the hot water?
It's natural hot water right out of the ground.
Wow.
It comes out of the ground at 160 degrees, and we actually have to cool it before we can get it into the pools for swimmers to use.
I was thinking to myself, I just cannot wait to get into one of those pools. They look so warm. You can see the steam just coming out, and I was like, I just want to jump right in there.
Again, open 24 hours, so tonight it's going to be 5 degrees above zero. These will be putting out epic amounts of steam, and it's probably one of the nicer times of year to enjoy the hot springs.
Can we have a beer in here?
You can, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to enjoy this this evening, and can't wait to experience the waters. And for you guys, really, because I've
Thanks so
been
much
in
for
here.
having us.
right?
Yeah.
Well, let's hit the road and get to Helena.
Do some beer drinking.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
I've been thirsty.
Staring at all this water really makes me want to be
Thank
here.
you.
This leg of Beermuda Triangle is sponsored by Fairmont Hot Springs Resort. Montana Party Time, Montana's party and event rental headquarters. Clothing provided by Montana Roots. Visit mymontanaroots.com. Transportation provided by Lithia Ford of Missoula.
My name is Luke Carlson. I'm the owner at Smelter City Brewing in Anaconda, Montana, and I bank at First Montana Bank. It's my belief that every town should have a brewery. Working with Abby was a good experience. I felt like there was a lot of trust involved. I felt like she had trust in me.
First Montana Bank. Banking built on relationships. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Over 215 years ago, Lewis and Clark set out on their adventure, and they blazed right through the state of Montana. So we're going to start our beer venture with a gold medal pit stop in Lewis and Clark Brewing in Helena, Montana. That's a beer.
Finally made it.
Oh my God.
But we got here, we're in one piece, at least
yeah.
this brewery.
Lewis and Clark is definitely a bucket list brewery for me, so I feel really special to be here right now.
Oh, hey.
Howdy, guys.
Hey, Sean.
Nice to see you, Kelly.
Nice to see you too. Thank you, and thank you for having us here.
Absolutely. We're super happy to have all you folks here.
Let's go take a little tour. Perfect.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but kind of fun.
From what I understand, this building where Lewis and Clark Brewing is has over 125 years of history. It was home to such companies as Columbia Paints and Montana Packing and Provisions. I can't wait to learn more.
Back here, that's our old smokehouse, built in, I think, 1894 or something like that.
For
And
smoking what?
smoking meat.
All right.
So, and then over here is our packing and provisions building, which they cured all the meat.
So this was the packing.
Upstairs is where the ice house was, for sure. So
And what was the ice house for?
it was for
keeping-
basically keeping the meats cold and stuff like that. So actually back in the day, this was one of the largest refrigerators, so to speak, like west of the Mississippi for a number of years. So what they would do is they would cut ice out of local lakes, put them on rail cars, and then come summertime, they'd hoist them back up to the third floor, and then there were cooling ducts that came down to these lower levels, which they had basically meat hanging and curing.
There were actual people lifting these giant chunks of
Absolutely,
ice.
yeah. Absolutely.
Pretty amazing.
But we can run back here and check out the new facility. So
From the old to the new.
Just think how hard it would have been to have a nice cold brew in the middle of the summer back then. Thank God for modern technology.
obviously we've got our canning line off on this side here. Crohn's Craft Mate can go up to about 250 cans per minute.
Really neat to see the brewery at Lewis and Clark and see some of the really top-notch technology that they have here that they use to brew such great beers. But what I'd really like to do now is sit down with the head brewer Sean and just pick his brain a little bit about some of the beers that they brew and hopefully taste through some of those with him. Having seen all this amazing equipment, I just want to pick your brain a little bit about sort of how that equipment helps produce these award-winning beers that you make, and maybe sit down and taste some of those beers with you. And
Okay, they taste really good.
I know that much, but
I can tell you that. They taste really good.
Totally.
I'm a little empty myself, so why don't we hit it?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Ladies first.
Thanks.
Kate's going to head over with Sean and talk a little bit more in depth on these beers that they make, and they're fabulous. While she's doing that, I'm going to go meet up with Max and talk a little bit more about how it's brewed. As I understand, they're brewing some beer right up on the catwalk right now.
Hey, Max.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing?
Doing great.
Good to see you.
It's good to see
Looks
you
like
as well.
You found the beer all right.
Oh boy, this is great. I'm overwhelmed by just, well, one, the shininess of everything, and two, that, just how much effort and time it takes to make a beer that we all get to enjoy.
It definitely is a process and a labor of love, and we got a great team of guys that care about quality, so
yeah,
that really shows.
Well, that shows because you got Small Brewery of the Year. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
We've been very blessed with some great medals, and all three of those beers brewed on this new system by these gentlemen, and so I feel like they really got it dialed in, and we were very fortunate to get that recognition. It's starting to open doors all over.
Tell me a little bit more about what we've got here.
Well, this is a 4-vessel system. So this is where our core beers, like our Miner's Gold, Prickly Pear, Backcountry, Tumbleweed, and most likely the Merryweather is going to become a flagship beer for us as well. It's been really popular today.
It tastes great.
Oh, thanks. There's a lot of great beers out there, so more and more it's all about who's doing their very best to give that consumer something they're going to remember.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, the taste of this is just phenomenal. And you can tell the quality and the care that you guys put into it.
Awesome.
And
I think the craft beer industry is a lot about connecting, and people are connecting with each other. And when you go into the average tap room today, it's more like the average pub of 100 years ago. And I think that's going to continue to be a staple in our society. We put the phones away for a little while and actually talk to someone and talk about things that we care about, and how much craft beer makes all those things a little bit better.
So these are your award-winning beers, both GABF and World Beer Cup, correct?
Correct. Correct. So we've got for GABF this last year, this was silver, Miners was gold, and Prickly Pear Pale Ale was silver.
Lewis and Clark won a bunch of awards at Great American Beer Festival this year, including Small Brewery of the Year. It's really an honor to sit down with Sean and speak to the man who made all of that happen.
We definitely were extremely honored and very humbled about the whole experience.
It's been great to talk about all these beers, but let's get to some tasting. Cool, so this is a Czech Pils, yeah?
It is. Yep, Czech Pils, and stylistically it's not quite to style. We decided to go lower hop characteristic to the beer and let the yeast kind of do a lot of the talking. And so,
Prost.
Cheers.
I want to start with the Pilsner because first, it's just a style I really enjoy, but it's also a really hard style to make. So if you can taste a brewery's Pilsner and taste that it's really delicious, then you're probably gonna like the rest of their beers as well. That's delicious. Cheers, thanks for having us.
Cheers to that, you bet.
You can tell tasting these beers that there's just a ton of attention to detail at Lewis and Clark, and that really is reflected in how technically great these beers are. Next time you're in Helena, Montana, I would definitely urge you to check out Lewis and Clark Brewing to experience some world-class beers as well as just some really nice people and that great community of craft beer.
What a day at Lewis and Clark Brewing Company.
I'm glad we snagged some of their beers for the pool.
Yeah. Well, and I stopped off, got some beer from Our next brewery we're going to be hitting tomorrow, which is Lone Peak Brewing up in Big Sky.
Nice.
And I actually have a big surprise for you in the morning. So
I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, you know, Kate, you've been on the show long enough. You know that my surprises.
I'm still here.
They never,
so I think
they
that
never disappoint.
We should trust. Trust.
You guys keep telling me to trust him. Literally just met you, bro.
But this doesn't suck. I mean,
No,
this is the way to do
So
it.
far, it's been working out as my favorite. Not yet.
There's blowing snow, but we're warm, drinking beer in the hot springs, as promised.
It's pretty sweet, and you know, #blessed.
Montana's the Big Sky state, and although traveling in this Ford Expedition has been amazing, we're going to get an aerial view with a helicopter ride from Bozeman to Big Sky. What better way to travel to Lone Peak Brewery?
For today's adventure, I have secured Rocky Mountain Rotors, and today's adventure
In a helicopter. Kate, we're going in a helicopter to a brewery.
That is definitely the way to travel to a brewery, hands down, by helicopter. Seriously, I'm really looking forward to this because people ride in helicopters to breweries all the time, right? Now it's finally my chance.
I want you to treat every helicopter like a horse. The back end is dangerous and it's a bad place to be, okay? So we won't go to the back, all right? Hi, my name's Mark Taylor. In 2006, I started Rocky Mountain Rotors.
Right.
And if you just put your seatbelt on after you get in there. Home base for Rocky Mountain Rotors is right here in Bozeman, Montana. We're in the heart of the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, so our flights travel all the way down deep into Wyoming, Idaho, you know, up to the Canadian border. And we do all kinds of flying.
Look at the scenery out here. I mean, you can't beat that.
Mountains are incredible. Not a huge airplane fan, but this is completely comfortable and totally different than riding in an airplane.
You bet. So here at Rocky Mountain Rotors, we provide many different services.
One of the main things that we do is tours. I mean, we fly and live in some of the most beautiful country in the entire world. And we're right here in Bozeman, Montana, in the heart of the mountains. You know, I mean, we call this helicopter country for sure.
Kelly, I don't think we should drive to breweries anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark could just be our guide. That might be a little expensive.
Thank you so much, Mark. This is really the trip of a lifetime for
Absolutely, you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, yeah, nice job. That was sweet.
Next stop, Lone Peak Brewery in Big Sky, Montana.
You guys can either call us direct at 406-579-9312, or the best way to get a hold of us is to go to our website at RockyMountainRotors.com.
This leg of Beermuda Triangle is sponsored by Eagle Beverage, Montana Party Time, Montana's party and event rental headquarters, and Zip Beverage.
At Farmer State Bank, we bring the bank to you. Member FDIC.
The heat is on at Rankish Brothers RV Center. No ice breaking, no freezing, just cool savings and sizzling deals on new 2019 Jayco Eagle HT fifth wheels. Like this 26.5 bunkhouse with payments starting as low as $249 OAC. Or this smoking hot deal on Jayco Hummingbird travel trailers starting at only $109 per month. Now that's hot. Don't miss these hot deals during these cold months. Going on now. Only where a handshake means something. Rankish Brothers RV Center.
At Farmer State Bank, we bring the bank to you. Member FDIC.
After this stunning and bodacious helicopter trip from Bozeman to Big Sky, we're on our way to Lone Peak Brewing.
Oh, thanks, Kelly. Thanks. Hi. Thanks for having us.
Lone Peak Brewing is the first brewery in Big Sky, and it's the only brewery with a tap house and restaurant.
Oh, cheers, guys.
What a great ride. We're going to go inside and meet with Steve Nordahl, owner and brewer, to find out what's brewing in Big Sky.
Hey. Steve Nordahl.
Kelly Bigelow.
Kelly, cheers, nice to meet you.
Cheers, nice to meet you.
Kate, Steve.
Melissa,
Steve, cheers, nice to meet you.
you.
Welcome to the Lone Peak Brewery.
Thanks for having us.
What are you guys doing today?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got off a helicopter.
Yeah, that's better than my commute to work.
How long has the brewery been here?
We are 11 years last month, October 10th, so yeah, 11 years now. Spent a lot of my time in Montana growing up as a kid and never been to Big Sky. Realized that Big Sky was the largest ski resort in North America that didn't have a brewery, and it was in Montana, and that was kind of all we needed to hear. We sold everything we owned and moved here immediately. So welcome to the Lone Peak Brewery. This is our production area, 1,500 square feet. We have a full basement under this space, so it allows us a little bit more production area than most people kind of see. These are some of the barrels.
I've been to this distillery.
From Willie's Distillery, yeah. Great people, Willie and Robin. They've become good allies of ours.
I think bourbon barrel aging is becoming more popular because breweries are always looking for ways to experiment and do something different, and this is just kind of another tool in their toolkit.
This is our Steep and Deep Winter Ale that we tucked away last December. Generally try and release it for Thanksgiving week when the chairlift starts spinning at Big Sky Resort. And actually, I think we're prompted to be able to pull the bung out of this one and wine thief a sample out of it if everybody's so inclined.
Absolutely.
Super stoked. It felt so special that the owner came out and brought us back and gave us this liquid gold to try.
There it is. Oh, cool.
It was a very small amount because this isn't something they serve yet, so I felt really special being able to try that for myself.
So go ahead and take one of these. It's not a
All right.
It's not a huge slug, unfortunately, but it's black gold. So cheers.
Thank you so much. This is great.
So being out of the smaller barrel, again, that surface area, this one is probably going to be a little more boozy than average.
Well, this isn't too hot either. I mean, this isn't burning. It's just
No,
nice warming.
but it's there.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah,
It's definitely there.
Getting to taste the bourbon barrel aged beer right out of the barrel was so cool because that's just an experience that pretty much only brewers ever get to do. And it really let you get just a snapshot of that beer right at that moment.
But what we're looking for, you get those caramelly notes. You're definitely getting the oaky, a little bit of vanilla tones that all come out of the oak in the barrels. And then of course the boozy notes from the bourbon that's left in there. And yeah, we've just found that it is a great combination. From there, why don't we take you upstairs to the remote bar and we'll have some peace and quiet and hunker down and try some beers.
There's more to this place? Nice, thank you, yeah.
Come on up. It takes a village. I've done the build a 53,000 square foot brewery thing, and none of that was rewarding as being an anchor business in a community that responds to everything that we put into the business. We've had funerals here, we've had weddings here, we've had birthday parties here. We are a part of the community, and that to us is as rewarding as anything. So welcome to the loft. This is our Brewski 9 rack. We make a Brewski 5 and a Brewski 9. So it's 9 4-ounce pours. We start off with mathematically our lightest beer, although not our lightest tasting beer. It's the raspberry wheat, the raspberry wheat.
Go for it.
So that is your first sample out of the ski. The next one down the line, again, lightest to darkest, is the Swiftwater Pilsner. This will appear to be a lighter, cleaner, crisper beer just because it doesn't have the fruit behind it, but it is, again, mathematically a lighter beer.
One of my favorite things about being on the Beermuda Triangle is meeting people like Steve Nordahl. He's super technical, knows a lot about beer, and his beer tastes amazing.
Yeah. So the last beer on the lineup is our Hippie Highway Oatmeal Stout, and again, as I mentioned, this is the beer that goes into the barrels to become our bourbon barrel stout. Dramatically different beers if you sample them side by side.
Isn't it important to start with a really good base beer before you even put it in barrels?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Barrel's not going to hide anything. It's gonna bring out all the great things in a beer.
We are picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, this is what I started with.
And now we have
here for lunch.
an empty ski rack.
That's so cute.
What's important to me is having all of them be the best beers that they can be stylistically. So that's where we find a lot of our pride, I think, is just making from one end to the other just a solid lineup of beers. So despite the fact that we've been here 11 years, you walk up and down the streets of any town in Montana and ask about the Lone Peak Brewery, A lot of people don't know who we are. We don't really blaze around the state trying to get tap handles at every bar and restaurant. Kind of our uniqueness is our uniqueness, and you have to find us. And that kind of works for us.
It's awesome.
Perfect beer.
Well, it's a little cold out here, so let's get to the chopper.
To the chopper.
For the final leg of the Beermuda Triangle, we're on our way to Stevensville, Montana, just outside of Missoula, to Wildwood Brewing, where Jim Leaders is there, and I can't wait to meet with him, another amazing brewer who's been brewing beer for a very long time.
You know how much I love your bock, so I'm going to have a bock.
You like a bock? Very good.
What would you like?
I'm a lager fan myself. So.
As an unexpected surprise, I was able to introduce the ladies to a great friend of mine and country music star, Annalisa Rose. She's going to be playing at the brewery tonight. I'm very excited.
Hey guys, my name is Annalisa Rose. Grew up right here in Stevensville. I started playing guitar when I was 14, and I've been songwriting ever since. So, thanks to Jim for having me at Wildwood today. Yeah.
I'm really excited to meet with Jim Leaders, patriarch of Wildwood Brewing, to hear more about the history of this building and his beers, which are 100% organic.
So if you look behind us, there's a picture of the barn that we're standing in when it was in Wisconsin. And they used to milk cows in this structure when it was in Menominee, Wisconsin. Built in 1901. So some friends of mine salvaged the barn and shipped it out to Montana, and I grabbed a crew locally and we stood it up here on this site. And now we make beer in it.
Wow.
So you shipped it, you broke it down and numbered them, what, A, B, C,
yes,
D, and
exactly.
then you built it
Made
again?
plans, took photographs.
Wow.
And then we stood it up really fast, actually. It went up in 3 days.
Why did you want to bring that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll agree, it has a lot of character.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's a lot of history to it.
Yeah.
And we're all about here at Wildwood salvaging materials.
And it seems like that also fits into your organic efforts and using the raw materials that you kind of expend from the brewery into new uses.
One thing about Wildwood, and the reason why I chose this site, is we're committed to building an integrated farm system around a brewery. And what I mean by that is all the waste would be used as value-added input in another process.
So that's what we're committed to do here at Wildwood, but we need everybody's help to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
We need consumers out there in this busy marketplace of beer to choose our product and help us along the way with that effort. Go up on the catwalk and I'll show you this wonderful system that we have here at Wildwood.
Lead the way, Kelly.
All right.
Let's go,
You know what I love
Kelly.
is, I mean, you got copper right here, and
That's definitely not something you see very frequently
you
nowadays.
definitely don't see it a lot, and it's a part of Montana. I mean, we're a land of resources, built on resources.
That equipment was built in Germany in 1989, and it was supposed to go to Vail, Colorado, the Vail Brewing Company, and they went out of business while it was on the high seas being transported. It ended up in a bonded warehouse, and a colleague notified me because he knew I was looking for equipment for my new brewery startup. So it was like a big puzzle. And about a month later, I managed to set it up.
So the brew kettles are beautiful to look at, but what does that mean? How does that help you brew the beer that's in our glass?
Well, that's a good question. They're only clad in copper and trimmed out in brass for the show. You know, that's the traditional look.
It's quite a show.
It is. Stainless
Beautiful,
steel
yeah.
on the inside, so they're very modern and still latest technology, I would say.
Yeah.
Every brewery has its own uniquenesses, and I really truly feel like time is what you've brought from that barn in Wisconsin to here, is you've brought that time capsule along with it that anybody could step in here and maybe step back into time a little bit.
It's beautiful and it's functional. It's got both.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
This beer venture has been absolutely amazing. From helicopter rides to hot springs to knowledgeable people like Kate and Melissa, it's just been absolutely stunning. And to be able to bring Melissa along and show her Montana hospitality and what these community members in brewing are all about has just been amazing. Thanks for watching.
Singing straight through my soul.